Here today with Isa, VP of Marketing at High Skin, a skin health brand with brick and mortar locations who saw a 25% lift on their membership conversions after integrating iMessage with Sendblue into their sales process. Isa is going to tell us all today about those results, how they arrived there, and how you can potentially convert more members for your brick and mortar business as well with Sendblue. Isa, thanks for hanging out with me.
Amazing. Great to be here.
You got it. Why are we talking today? Why are you excited to chat with us?
Yeah, we saw some really great results from our initial pilot with Sendblue. We focused on our first market in Arizona, and we had a couple different groups that we looked at for this test. But before I get into the actual test structure, I can talk a little bit about kind of our hypotheses and what we focused on to start. So, like I said, this was a pilot. We really focused on that very first visit, which is a facial for us. We're kind of a facial and skin health brand, and focused on kind of optimizing the relationship between the brand, the SD, and the client around that first visit to see if we could drive longer term LTV, loyalty, satisfaction, and of course, membership conversion, which is really core to our business. And so we started with something very simple. We sent a message from the SD through Sendblue checking in before that first visit. And then we sent a message from the SD checking in after that visit. The first message was really focused on, is there any information that I don't have that could help me provide a better service that might not have been fully reflected in our intake form? And then the last message is just checking on kind of how their skin was feeling after a couple of days. And it's kind of a natural place for clients to be able to share thoughts, feedback, make sure that they kind of have that direct line to an experienced person who can help them navigate anything that might happen or might be different after a facial. And we saw some very interesting results. So, first of all, we had three groups. Our first group was people who received no messages. Our second group was people who received a message but didn't interact. And then our third group of people were clients who actually interacted with that Sendblue message. And we basically saw a scaled impact. So if we look at membership conversion, which is really our kind of core KPI as a business, members are the foundation of High Skin's business. We saw a 25% lift in membership conversion for folks who simply received the message but did not interact, which was very, very strong and obviously has huge long-term ROI and impact for the business if this holds as we scale to all of our markets and all of our clients.
How many people was the test size?
I don't know off the top of my head actually, but I think the full, like all of the three groups that I'm talking about it was at minimum 500
Oh,
clients.
wow,
So
that's
it's not small. Yeah, we piloted for more than a month.
wow. Okay, huge.
Yeah. And some of those folks were obviously in the group that didn't receive messages. So not everyone kind of in that group was part of the Sendblue piece of the pilot, but it was certainly a big enough sample that I feel confident in these results. So we saw a 25% increase in membership conversion for recipients and 77% increase for folks who interacted. And so that's where you see that scaled impact of just receiving the message has business impact and drives folks to convert at a higher rate. And then obviously interacting, those folks are going to come in with higher intent. So obviously there are different variables in the mix there. But overall, if we can get people to even interact with our messages, that impact is even bigger. So lots of really exciting returns, specifically on membership and other impacts that I can talk about on CSAT, customer satisfaction, as well as rebooking rates, if that would be interesting.
I might be interested in that. I tell everyone, especially on my sales team, conversions happen in conversations. So it's no surprise to see that people that interacted or had a conversation with the message were 77% lift. What is the message that you're sending that's getting the response?
So we have two messages, like I mentioned. The first one basically was saying, is there anything I need to know before your facial? And the second one, which had a lower interaction rate, which makes sense, is just like, is there anything I can help with post facial? Typically, those post facial messages will be more focused on like, ooh, maybe I'm like seeing some more breakouts. Why is that? Or usually, if things are going well, if you're looking good, if you're glowing, you like your products you went home with, there's not that much to say at that point, which is most of our clients.
And that though might be then that follow-up to people post-facial. You also shared with me that you had people give you higher star ratings and reviews and more people give you reviews?
Yes, 100%. So this was really interesting to me. In addition to looking at our business, like core business and financial KPIs for this test, we also looked at CSAT, which is a traditional measure of customer satisfaction. And it's something that we ask every single client after their appointment is completed. So we basically asked them to give us a rating out of 5 stars and how we did. And we actually saw for folks who received or interacted with messages, they had an average CSAT of 4.8 out of 5 versus the other group had an average CSAT of 4.6 out of 5. So very interesting to see, even just introducing these messages also increases the kind of like perceived value and perceived satisfaction of the service itself. So this really supports our hypothesis around kind of SD client relationship building.
With the
I
rebookings you mentioned as well.
Yeah, so rebookings, similar to membership conversion, I would say that's secondary for us because most rebookings are via membership, but we saw really significant results in rebookings as well, 67% higher for recipients, 100% higher for interactors. So very, very meaningful for this first pilot and this first sample.
Heck yeah. So someone's watching right now and they're like, I'm still not convinced about this Sendblue thing. They're sitting on the fence. What would you say to them?
Great question. I would say I was very skeptical before we got started. I actually come from kind of a life cycle marketing and retention focused background. So I've worked with a lot of tools and a lot of platforms in adjacent spaces to Sendblue. And I was frankly surprised to see such strong results. And so I would say if you're skeptical, it's worth giving it a try. And it's been great working with your team.
Team's been good?
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah, I think Isaac signed you guys up. He's pretty good. All right. Someone's watching right now and they happen to live around the location for High Skin. This is now your time to tell us about High Skin.
Love it. Well, first of all, our markets are in Houston and Arizona and in DC and Virginia. So if you live in any of those areas, we have a great first time offer. It's $99 for your first facial. I strongly recommend it. It's 100% personalized to you. Obviously, we talked today about kind of the importance of the SD relationship, and a big driver of kind of why we wanted to even introduce these Sendblue comms is to make sure we're capturing all the information, really deliver a best in class facial for each unique person. And so whether your concerns are acne, fine lines, dryness, summer heat, especially in Arizona right now, really whatever it is, your SD will work with you one-on-one to create a truly custom facial from a library of 20 plus different kind of modalities that we use, a lot of which are really advanced offerings that are only available $200, $300, $400 packages in other places. So that's what we do. We call it the really good facial, and it is really that good. And we would love to see you for a first time facial.
Your skin looks great.
Thank you so
It's
much.
not a filter.
Unfortunately,
They should
it's not.
make you VP of sales after that pitch.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Issa, thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam.